Hey everybody, it's Chanchai again, and today I've got another special product that just came in. I think I got it on the second day compared to some of the earliest I'd seen people arrive, and that is the new Victrix Pro Fs, the white version. And yes, it's the FS, not the 12. The 12 is the all-button controller. The FS is still the fight stick. The Victrix Pro FS is still one of my very, very favorite arcade controllers. It's my favorite retail stick right now. I would say, the Versus case is pretty much my favorite stick, but the Victrix is really also my favorite retail stick. They're both pretty much neck and neck to me, and they're for different reasons. But I love the aircraft grade aluminum. I love how it feels playing on a Victrix. I love the angle. I think the angle is unmatched so far. It plays awesome in your lap. It plays awesome on the table. And it's a great stick. It is feature loaded and has a lot of aspects to it, and we'll cover that. I'll turn this into kind of a review based on my experience with the Victrix Pro Fs already. I've been using it for about a year and a half. And I love the Victrix so much that I kind of bought a few of them. So I have my first Victrix, and probably my favorite model is actually the Cami Street Fighter 2 Cami with kind of like a more military green color to it. It's got an awesome green color. You have to see it in person to really appreciate it, but it's great. And that one, I've done a few adjustments to the look and presence and aura of that stick, but I've done that to all of them too. I also have the blue Sagat stick, and that one is also really awesome, though I do find that blue is a trickier color to build around, but it is just beautiful by itself, and so blue is probably the most popular color actually. And then I have the black Akuma stick, which many people first had seen my build of that I posted, I think in February. And that's been kind of like the stick that a lot of people remember that I have. And it's the stick that I'm really proud of. I'm proud of, that was the first time I customized a stick, and the customization was very limited. I just changed I changed the lever, I changed the buttons. I was very selective about the buttons, and then I installed LEDs thanks to Paradise Arcade's LVT3 board, which they made a version of it for Victrix. And the controller is just so accommodating to the golden lever. So the golden lever is installed in there, and I also did some other things. I mean, I picked out the plungers that I want to use. And then I also wanted to present it as a concept. So like my ideal use case with the Victrix Pro Fs Akuma. And so I paired it with Oppo headphones, which I love, my PM3s. I paired it with my PM1s. Sagat will eventually be paired with the PM3s. And I also, put it with a split frame bag, an awesome one, which was the Street Fighter Blackout Edition one, and it's just awesome with the Akuma. And I did more, so if you ever want to see that, I'll put a link for it. But that's the one I'm proud of. I will be proud to present Cami and Sagat, but today we're doing with the white, and the white is such an awesome stick. I had to get this one when I saw it. I pre-ordered it. I heard that it's coming November 9th, maybe my birthday, November 19th. But sometime in November, I think the 20th is when this will be available for people to purchase outside of the pre-order window. So right now, they just started sending these this week to everyone, and let's get to it. There has been some adjustments. This will be if we're counting only about like hardware changes, this would be the third version of the Victrix Pro Fs as far as I know. I believe it's gone through 3 versions. This would be the third. So let's get to it. I like the new PDP logo. We have the specs on the box. We got a lot more details here and where it went through. We got Eva Air as being the shipping partner. Okay, so quite a bit of detail there. Not necessary, but it's always fun to know where your stick's been, where it's coming from. All right, what do we have here? So Something about the Pro FS. I do not have a stock one, but I've seen people unbox the stock one. And the stock one on their version 2 had more of like this PS4 kind of theme on the box. And this is definitely following suit with the PS5 kind of branding. And so that said, those of us that got the Street Fighter limited editions, I think I'm going to do another video that covers all the unboxing experience of Victrix, because that's a big deal. And the Street Fighter ones have an awesome box. The presentation is just awesome. So this is what we see here. I'm going to set the phone aside and I'm going to slide out this. But I am glad it's got these foams. These foams are awesome. There's probably going to be some inside too, but the ones here, these you should always keep. Jason Hicks of Jason's Customs is the one who pointed out that these things are perfectly sized, and they are, for doing your modification jobs to your Victrix. They're wonderful. So keep these always. I actually am crazy enough to keep the box. That's kind of the type of person I am. But so I try to keep packaging when I can, and I keep it nice and neat. Try to get this out without causing too much damage. My obsessive compulsiveness comes out in my materialism, so bear with me. Usually what you do is you get in a position to slide these out. Alright, set the box aside. So as you can see, when you take it out, you have these, and now you just set, these things are just awesome platforms. Now, another alternative, if you have an arcade controller that that opens the panel from the bottom like the Victrix does, or also the way that you handle, let's say, the Versus case, my two favorite arcade controller cases, you handle those from the bottom. And the Itoki Omni Arcade is also a favorite that also does that. When you have that, these pads are amazing. If you don't have these type of pads though, yoga blocks are perfect also. They're not like, these are sized better for Japanese levers, but arcade blocks are wonderful. So let's see if I can lay this out in a nice, cool way. Probably cannot because of what I did. So let's see here. Still recording? Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm going to take it out of this plastic wrap. This is part of the premium experience that you do get with a Victrix. Not only do you get it boxed in a box that says exactly what is in it, you have it in a, you have the foam pads, the foam holders, and then you've got this plastic wrap that goes around it that I do keep as well because there's nothing to do with it. It's great. I'll fold the tape in. I'm going to slide this in and try to reduce damage. It would be easy to damage it, but we'll just slide it down carefully if you can. Get this out carefully because it looks like this is kind of reminding me of other boxes from the PS4 era that, like, for me are just easy to damage. It's not my favorite about that. Okay. We've seen the front, but let's go ahead and see it again, and let's take a look at how everything looks from all angles. All right, as we can see, PlayStation, Victrix Pro Fs, by PDP, the new PDP logo. I do like the new one. I like it more than the old one. The old one was seeming dated, seemed like it's coming out of the 90s. This one seems more modern, and I know like a lot of people don't like the new Namco, but this kind of look is fresh and young, and I do like it. Okay, I like how they're doing the Victrix pattern, right? They're doing the Victrix colors, the purple, violet, and it's in the background, and it looks like this. It's kind of a neat box. Not my favorite box, but it's a beautiful box nonetheless. And Victrix does come out. Pro FS Arcade Fight Stick, Joystick Arcade, 4 para per for PS5, PS4. All right, so basically it just says 4 PS4, 5 and PS4. Now on the side, this is textured, and that is cool. So I do like that. You can kind of see that here. So this is kind of beautiful here. Going from the side, yep, our details here, you know, in English. Victrix Pro Fs arcade stick featuring authentic Sanwa Denshi parts. I do like those. Patented link to detachable shaft with ball top attachment and on the Sanwa base. I personally like the link to a lot. Obviously, the link to cannot customize the ball top, so that's the reason why I don't use it as much. But I believe that they were coming to an agreement and were being fair to Freak Mods after incidences that were less fair. And so I think as a gesture of making it up, they basically made it very clear they're not putting a commercial stake on the Link 2. They're not selling ball tops for it. They're not turning it into a product line. They don't even sell you Link 2 replacement shafts. But however, if you have a problem, yours breaks, they will, I believe they do replace it. So, you know, they still do the warranty service, but they're not doing any commercial activity with the Link 2, and I believe that's out of respect for Freak Mods. Because Freak Mods did create the Link, and then created the Link EX Groove. And I think all three of the Links, the Link 2 by Victrix, and then the Freak Mods Link EX Groove, and let's remind us, Freak Mods made the Link, the original. They all have their own merits that make them worth considering one over the other. But they all work together, and so I like them all. But the Link and the Link EX Groove will let you use a standard 35mm ball top or any ball top with similar threading, which I think is the M6. So, sorry if I got that wrong. All right, we've got additional Sanwa Denshi joystick shaft and ball top grip. There is an extra Sanwa shaft in there in case you want to use the original and not a Link. Additional Sanwa Denshi, yep, and then dust cap for a detachable shaft. Yes, it's in there. It's in the cover. It's in the panel. And then 3-meter detachable USB-C braided cable. I love their USB-C braided cable. It's great. And also I love the way that the design that protects the plug. And I'll talk about that later. The Allen wrench, it is in there, it's in the door, and then instruction manual. Okay, now they've always had like an amazing instruction manual, so we'll see how the instruction manual is in this one. But the instruction manual in the Street Fighter ones I have and in the original, those are like car catalogs. Those are like when you buy a new car, and not even just that, when you buy a new BMW and you get like the catalog looking full color guide to your car that shows you like why you love your car before you've driven it off the lot. They did that with the Victrix as well in the previous. So they also did that with their headsets. No, not the newest one. They did it with the original headset, the one that looks more like a helicopter headset. A mix between that and the Asteroid 40. All right, so Victrix by PDP. We got this nice graphic. We've got compatible hardware. PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. PC compatibility not tested nor endorsed by Sony Interactive Entertainment. Okay, so there's something about the Sony license, and they're just kind of saying, well, okay. Now, I have thoughts on that, but we'll talk about that later. Still recording, good. All right, let's get this onto the back. Thank you for your patience with me. I am long-winded, but that's the feature of me. Other people are going to do quick videos. I get that. I'm doing a more complete, thorough as I can, but just enjoying the moment. So I hope you guys can enjoy the moment with me. And it's okay if you need to jump through. I'll try to put timestamps in. So overall, this is what the back looks like. It's a more what we kind of hope to see at the store. But you know what? This is the funny thing about the Victrix Pro FS. I don't know if this ever could sit in the store because it always sells out. I know people want to say, dude, it's way too expensive. I understand if this thing is priced out of your range. That's understandable. That exists. That's a thing. Not everyone can afford a Pro FS. These are expensive. They are intentionally expensive, but they are, in my view, I feel like I get the value out of it. I feel like it's worth it. But I also think they sell out, and that pretty much tells you that it's worth it to a lot of people, at least. Not to everyone, but to a lot of people, enough people that it's covered. However many they've made, they've sold out. So, Pro FS arcade stick. Yep, the 30mm solid density buttons, control bar with touchpad that was installed in a feature since the second version. 3-meter detachable USB-C braid cable. Compatibility. Now it's got a mode switch. This is new. PS5, PS4, PC mode switch. I believe it's inside the panel, but yeah, that's a new thing, and we'll talk about that. Clean, easy to mod layout. This is 100% true. This thing is really easy to exchange your parts, really easy to mod. I'm a big fan of bottom loading too. I'm a big fan of the panel being on the bottom, like the door. Yeah, I love it after using it and after having experience with some of the other arcade controllers now, including like the Razer Pantera. I love this. Okay. It's got the audio jack. Victrix has always had an audio jack as well. Ergonomic, yes. That wrist slope, this is really a feature. This is a big part of what's really good about a Victrix so far that other sticks have not matched. This ergonomic wrist slope is fantastic for both lap play and playing on a desk. Not lying. Seriously, it's an awesome, awesome angle. It's so comfortable and you have so much arm space. I don't think it's going to matter when it comes to the 12 model. It's going to be built in, but my feeling is the ergonomics of an all button controller really are, after having used some, really is like a keyboard. But this does look like it's kind of like the keyboard wrist rest, so I got to try that someday and we'll see. Single piece aircraft grade aluminum shell, yes, totally. Something they didn't mention here, and I think is worth mentioning, is that the LED features of the Victrix Pro have always been really good because they're very low key. They're subtle, but they're there. They're loud for people in the audience, but they're not loud for you as the player. And that's exactly how I like my LEDs, and that's what the Victrix does. All right, you can scan for the information. If you were at the store, you could QR scan and get more details and understand the stick. I like that. That's pretty much a thing that should be standard now on all devices. In fact, it should be in there, and it probably is not even in there, but it should be. Yeah, so all this, it's not even advertising the LEDs. Apparently, the LED doesn't make the list, but I think the LEDs are fantastic and are just done in the most tasteful way. All right, let's open this thing. Okay. Do we have a sticker here? We got a sticker there. So I'm gonna, I don't like to rip open stickers anymore these days. I used to. But nowadays, I just slice it with a knife and just say, you know what? I don't need to tear apart my box. I don't need to tear apart the packing box. Okay. I literally used a butcher's knife, by the way, to do that. So we're gonna first slide this out. Is that how it works? Yes, no, no? Okay, interesting. This is gonna slide out the bottom, and yet this looks like it's a cover. Why does it look like it's a cover? Why does it look like it's a sliding cover, and yet the top is closed, so you can't really even do that? Do we need to open from the bottom first? Yeah, okay. I will talk about what that meant and when we get there. This is really scary as somebody who wants to always keep the box nice. This is kind of scary. This is really scary. And I'm putting you all in suspense with me, you know? Okay. Let's hope we don't tear the box. Please don't tear the box. It feels like it's about to do that. It feels like this thing is way too firm. Please do not tear this thing apart. Okay. Oh. Okay, now I'll take the sticker off. Thank you for bearing with me. I know you guys can't get the best view. What I'm doing is I'm taking off those plastic circular stickers. What I was panicking about earlier is the way this thing is designed is it's got it's in a sleeve, but the sleeve has got one end of the sleeve is covered. So it's like, it's got basically, this box has a shirt on it, right? It's got a cardboard shirt on it. And why is that scary? Well, it's scary because, you know, when you open nice products that you're going to pay a lot of money for, and you like the unboxing experience, and you know you're going to keep the box because you're crazy like me, then you, what happens then, let me tell you this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what happens then is that I might just keep it there, but I know I can take it out, but I can take it out later. So you can see like this, it's inside this. This whole cover out here is the sleeve. There is a box inside this sleeve. But on the bottom, or actually the top, it's covered. It's the same part of it. So it's got a shirt. It's got a shirt on the box. And so I'm also worried that like when I open this, if, you know, I probably need to put a credit card in there to pop it open, because if I don't do that, I'm just gonna have this big tear that goes like that, and I hate that. I really do. It's, you know, you like to have nice boxes because sometimes you do want to have a nice presentation on the shelf or something. I'm that crazy. But let's see what I do. I'm going to use a credit card for sure. I'm definitely using a credit card for this. So thank you for your patience with me, with my neuroses. You know, I've got arcade controller neuroses. Oh, this is going to work really. Okay. All right, I managed it without that. That pop was so scary. So I have now opened it like this. It's just a little nudged in there, but you can see how that could have turned into a terrible tear. It's just so scary for me. All right, well, we've got this, and let's see how this goes. Can we get the whole thing down? Can we get it out? Can we take off the shirt? We can slide the shirt off. Okay, let's do that. Sorry for this is the most neurotic unboxing video that you've seen in the arcade controller space, because I've seen everybody throw their box parts around, and I can't do that. All right, but this looks beautiful. I gotta show you this. All right, let's enjoy this. This is the new Pro FS box. That was just the sleeve. This is the box. This is the bottom part that we saw. What? Oh, because this was on my on my tile counter. And you can see, so this is actually really cool. This is the shininess that was on the original on the inside. It's by PDP. So now they're sharing the PDP branding as we saw earlier. And you can see the blackout professional gaming gear, Victrix, right? They're still saying we are the professional gear, and I like that. I like the seriousness and tone. Even though I also think that a good audience for Victrix is the retro market and the collector market, the home museum setup market, the boutique setup especially. Right. How about the bottom? What did we see in the bottom? The bottom is similar. It's the big Victrix logo. Yeah. All right. One second. Okay. How much damage did I do to this box? Let's see. Well, not too bad. Okay, so let's see the unboxing experience. So Victrix has set a strong precedent, so let's see if they follow suit. Though that said, these parts have been great. All right. Okay, right away we've got the Victrix Arcade Pro FS arcade stick in the bag, and you can see this is where the cable comes from. I saw somebody on Twitter said that the cable was not included, and I thought maybe it would be in the compartment on the 12, but it wasn't. So I hope they hear back from Victrix very soon. I feel sad for them that they didn't have it, because this is a great cable, but I'm pretty sure that Victrix is going to take care of them. So this cable, fantastic, very strong, very firm. You can wrap it around the prongs on there, and you can see here you've got over here, you can see how it clips, so it can clip to itself like a vacuum cleaner cord, and I think that's fine. I really like it, actually. But what's especially important is how long these are, right? This is what's going to go into the console. This is the USB-C that goes into the arcade controller. I really wish Victrix would make a PS5 USB-C cable. I hope they would. I hope they will do that. But anyhow, you can see how long this is. This is important because you'll see when you see the port, and it keeps it protected. I have not had any issue with these in the past year and a half, right? You can imagine too. So I have to say, so here's where the unboxing experience for the Victrix is still a premium unboxing experience, and I can still say that it's still one of the best. But there was a precedent that was set, and that was the previous models all had something amazing, and that was they had like this catalog, this instruction manual that was over here, and on top of that, before that, there was also a layer on top of that, but they also had a card, like a frosted card, frosted transparent like plastic card, like the size, like bigger than a birthday card. And it would tell you, it was like basically a letter from the president of the company pledging that they got your back. They got a phone number on there. Give them a call if you need support. They're there for you. And that was awesome. It was basically pledge, please be loyal to us because we promise we'll be loyal to you. And that was it's just an awesome touch, and it feels like you're buying a new luxury car. It's great. On top of that new luxury car feel, they had this instruction manual that fit this whole space here. That's how big the instruction manual was. And it wasn't because it was full of information. It was because it was gorgeous, like a magazine, like a catalog, just like if you bought a brand new BMW and you got that magazine catalog that says, this is the lifestyle you've just bought yourself into. They gave you the new luxury car experience, or the new BMW experience. It was awesome. And so that's something that if you're seeing unboxers disappointed with the unboxing, with this amazing unboxing experience from Victrix that is still, leader of the pack for arcade controllers, it's because the original for both their Pro audio headphones, which they called the AF, so Pro AF, you can hear that as you want, because it had, that model also had like an amazing unboxing experience, just like the Pro FS did during version 1 and version 2. So I just got to mention that. It's important. It's also why some Victrix fans might look disappointed in what is really still an amazing unboxing experience. So this is fantastic still, but we missed that catalog. Maybe it's there, maybe it's on the bottom, but we'll see. I'm skeptical of that. Okay, so I'm going to take this out. We have these other foam pads. These foam pads also can work perfectly, but I do think the ones that come in the packing is better. But these ones are great as well. And let's put this arcade controller back in, and then I can show you what we've got. Okay, thank you for your patience. All right, so I took this one out, but notice it actually fits nicely in this one here. So very cool stuff. There is a lot you can do with these if you don't want to keep them in the box. I tend to keep them in the box. I'll put the part in here. Okay, let's take the bag out with the stick. And I love this bag. This bag is great. I do still use them. It's awkward in a tournament, but it's still nice to have, and especially nice when you travel. Really, really nice when you travel. Okay, Scan me code, and we've got this is the new manual. Okay, so the manual now looks, it's like a brochure, but it's also like the manuals we're used to with accessories. They're kind of, they're not going over the top catalog. We've got this here, and this is cool. And they got an exclusive offer for 20% off. You know, sign up to unlock news, discounts, and product information. Of course, that's how they want you to join the site, but you should, because it's good to, especially for warranty and whatnot. And they do have, like in the past at least, they would cover a lot, so they would be taking care of you. So still, I do recommend following them and using the website. All right, here we have, this is the ball top that is standard. It's packed in here, but it's basically a normal JLF shaft with the ball top, and you can keep it in the box. What you can do is you can put these back in, like here. I will obviously still use this right away, but on my setup at home, I've got a USB-C cord just right there at the desk, so I don't always have to put these. I just put these in my stick bag is what I do. All right, let's set this aside and let's open up the Victrix. One sec. I'll do that later. Okay. I'm going to loosen up the drawstring bag, the drawstring, so that we can open this up more better. And let's take a look at how this thing looks when we take it out. Okay. So, brand new Pro Fs. This white is so gorgeous. The feel is really good. This is a different feel. This is, I guess this is like a thick powder coating, right? If they're still using powder coating, I don't know my materials. I don't know my painting process, right? The original Pro Fs was brushed metal. And the Street Fighter 2 Pro Fs, even though they might be version 2, which had the touchpad, were still brushed aluminum, okay? Then the standard Victrix, originally in brushed aluminum, changed to powder coated, and this powder coating is great. I do like the powder coating. It's certain stuff are not going to show up as much on it. It's going to be easier to clean, and there's a lot of advantages to going with powder coated. And this is like a thick powder coat, as far as I can tell. So that's great, and I hope I don't mess it up, right? We've also got this, so we'll take that out after we do the bag. So when we unbag it, but I love this. You know, it was maybe harder to appreciate in the dark gray that was still very beautiful, but this white is just, I'm liking it already. I'm feeling like a kid with a new console in the 80s and 90s, and yet this feels incredibly modern anyhow. So I'm getting both of those feels. All right, so we're taking this out. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. So. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Let's look. Audio port looks even better than I thought, maybe because of the white. Again, placebo effects. Placebo effects. All right, let's take out the cover that's protecting the bar. Really sticky on there, so you gotta make sure. Then that touchpad, of course. So let's do some history about the Pro Fs. The Pro Fs Revision 1 did not have a touchpad. What it had was it had 3 programmable buttons, you know, and it's hard to see it here until they light up. You know, you've got like I can't remember. One of these is a microphone. One of these is the LEDs, and one of them is like headphones. Okay. Then over here you've got like one of them is the X button, or the Victrix button. Really, it's the Victrix logo. And what you do is you press that, and you press like X, and then you you press basically you do the combination, because this was a programmable button. And if you said, I want to reprogram this, you would press this, and then press the button that you want this to be. Or if you press left on the stick, it would be L3. And if you press right on the stick, it would be R3. And you basically got full functionality that way. And it's really quick to do. It's like, doom left, doom right. And you're like, that's how quick it is to program it. So you can go doom left and then press it, and I've got my L3. Boom right, and then press it, I've got my R3. That's how fast it is. I used it a lot, right? Similarly, you could set it, like the audio would be like a mute. There would be like a microphone mute. You could change the audio level. It has a mixer built into the stick, and that's a huge feature. Then you also have the LED controls, and the LEDs come out over here, and they are gorgeous if you ever see a Victrix in person, because they are the perimeter of this big oval in here, right? So the perimeter lights up in different colors, and you can change the rate that it pulses, if it does pulse, if it's the same color. And on top of that, you could change, you can set it to just to one color. You had a lot of different settings that were pretty good. The Quamba setting you did not have Quamba has a setting where the LEDs can emulate. They can take the signal from a DualShock vibration and use that as an LED signal. Victrix, I don't believe this one does, but the old ones definitely do not. So the one program button, it replaced basically in the old design when you didn't have a touchpad, there was more buttons, and so there were 3 programmable buttons, and they were already L3, trackpad, and R3. Now you do have the trackpad, so you don't need a programmable button for that, but you do need to program this one programmable button to emulate those. But it's very quick, very easy, very pain-free, and makes it more feature-packed than a lot of other levers, actually. Yeah. So you got that. Then you got your tournament lockout switch too. So you have that Sanwa, sounds good. This is the dust cap. You know what? Everybody's going to ask you if they can buy yours. You shouldn't give it. But this is the dust cap that covers the Link 2. This is the Sanwa JLFs. That's the Link's. That's the Link's side of the shaft, and then you just put in the top shaft for your Link, and we'll do that later. Again, headphone port. Everything's the same on the right side. These are the posts that you can tie your cable around. I don't really do that. Actually, you just pull the cable out and put it in my bag. But you could wrap it if you want to. It's convenient. Also, I do have shoulder straps that do click in to these, and it is nice carrying these with a shoulder strap. But you do end up having to worry about people damaging it. This thing is great. Let's look at the imprint of the buttons: the X, O, R2, L2, L1, R1, triangle, and square, and it looks really beautiful. Obviously on the 12, you're gonna see they use arrows for the left, down, right, and up. So good to know, good stuff. And the layout that I did see them use, it looks like the buttons are 24. I wonder if they're using the Shio Kenstar, but I actually think they're using the standard hitbox, similar to what a hitbox uses, which is using like a 24mm buttons for everything except for the thumb button. So yeah, it looks so good. How about, let's look underneath, because that's really important. We'll lay it out on our bag here. In fact, let's show you what we're talking about when we're talking about using these. Okay. So a funny thing you can do with a Victrix FS is you can stand it up like this. And I do actually do this when I'm changing ball tops or doing some mods that I don't mind if it's plugged in and I don't mind it being on, then I do some mods with that, right? So you can lay it up like a tower. That's one way. What we're doing is we're taking these here, putting them here, then we're just gonna put the stick on top. Like that, see? And that is awesome. It is a really good size, and this is what we got. So we got the purple handles. These handles are so comfortable, good grip. This foam pad is like a foam pad that you've seen everywhere. It's not the best grip, but it is good. It works. It's comfortable on your lap. I used to really like it, but now I like two things a lot better. But it's still really good, and that Victrix logo looks beautiful. And again, they have gone with the black now as a standard. That's great, because I think it was purple before. All right, so let's click this. All right, it's wonderful, and you know, as Nihongo Gamer pointed out, it's a wonderful click when you close it. All right, let's pop it up. Here we go. This is the famous Victrix Pro Fs wiring that is just really beautiful out of the gate. It's using their braided cables. Got this here, and honestly, this looks like I could do exactly the same thing. I think I can still use the LVT3 board, but I'll wait for confirmation, but I believe you can just install a Paradise Arcade LVT3 LED board in here. This is about the same. If you remove the JLF, and let's say you wanted to do a short collar Korean lever, you can. You just have to remove this little ring that's underneath this, or like between this and the panel. And the ring is very easy to pop out. And when you do that, especially like levers like the golden lever, they just fit perfectly there, and it works good with this. So this compartment is divvied in so that you have enough clearance for a lot of the popular Korean levers. This notch similarly accommodates, especially golden lever, because golden lever has an array of where the micro switch is like here, then here, then here, then here. So this is where the notch is sticking out, and so this accommodates that. Isn't as friendly on levers that do it the opposite direction, but it's still cool. It's still awesome, and it's a wonderful thing. This is the new switch. We got PS5, PS4, and PC. I will probably set to PS4 and I'll learn the settings. It might not mean much. Maybe PS5 is what you should do, but I have a feeling that on PS4, you might want to set down PS4 just for the audio mixing for the features on the panel, on the bar. If you change buttons, what you should know, number one, these are Sanwa buttons. If you plan to keep the buttons, I highly recommend Buttercade's snap out tool. It's very cheap. A lot of stores have it. You should buy it. If you don't, be very careful, but there's a good chance you're going to break the tabs on Sanwa OBSF buttons. The Sanwa OBSF buttons are very easy to break these little tabs right here when you remove them, and those are the things that hold them in when you pop them back in. Many times they're still usable, but it's just not the same. You know, it's just not as nice. And you've got such a nice product here that, you know, you want it to be nice. Okay, these connectors, in my experience with previous models, to remove them can be a real pain, but yeah, they really put them in very firm, and I think they clamped them to hell to make sure that they're in there, because they don't, for the casual consumer that is not going to change the buttons, that's going to use those Sanwas for life, they probably want to make sure that it's secure and it's never going to pop off, and that player is not going to reattach the cable, so they lock them in. But if you ever decide you want to change your buttons, I recommend getting like a precision screwdriver. You stick the flathead precision screwdriver like over here, do a slight twist, and it'll help pop this off. Now, you don't have to worry about being too forceful. Look, if you damage it, most likely you'll damage the button, and your replacement button will be fine. But this thing should be okay, but you definitely don't want to destroy this. But you might need to order a new brain stem if you happen to damage this, the disconnect here. We call these the quick disconnects. Anyhow, let's see. This is making me curious. They have used a zip tie to lock this thing in place. What's that scratching? Okay, it's looped there. I think it's just keeping it in place, but you can see what they did here. But they still kept this very tiny here. This can be a little difficult, especially, not really. When you use Korean levers that might have this thing like on the other side or something, then you can usually pull it over here and just that the wire will be more loosening. So you're okay. It's still very easy to modify, to replace levers and replace buttons. I love that about the stick too. It's the hidden feature of the stick. Now they've put it on the box, but it's really true. All Everything is good. This is a Victrix Pro Fs. Oh, there's stuff I haven't shown you yet. The link. So here we go. This is the link to. This is the Allen key, and this Allen key is how you're going to take the ball top off. And whatever link you use, if you want to change the ball top, you want to use this. This Allen key is a really good one to use for that. You put it basically in here where you see that triangle pattern, and you can force and twist off the ball top. Just remember, righty-tighty, your right hand pointing your thumb forward. In is righty-tighty. Out is lefty-loosey, as if you did it with your left hand. You pull back like this. So, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, so again, I am just an amateur. I make these videos because I really love doing this, and because it's just, I'm having fun, and I like sharing the fun. I like other people having fun because I found other people love it too. So I'm learning as much as you guys are. Feel free in the comments to just go ahead and give me your expertise. I love hearing other people's expertise. I am not trying to be the expert. I'm just trying to be the guy who just has a lot of fun. So this is the link too. That's how it looks. It looks like that on the link as well. We've got this. We grab this part and we pull it in. Technically, we're pulling the outer part of the shaft into the ball top. That's how the link 2 works. And it's like this. It's better to do it from this side and grab like this. Pull it, put through there. And look at how secure that is. Not going anywhere. Let's take it off. We go like here. You can pull the ball top up, and then you pull this, and it removes. Easy as that. One thing to know. So what is the big deal? What did the Link 2 do? Why can I not use other ball tops? The Link 2 uses an extra, like it has an extra layer shaft. This whole thing, this is a thick shaft. Normally the shaft is a lot thinner, right? And that's because it's basically, this is the shaft cover. And the design is the whole shaft cover is what you're pulling up to do this. On the original Link, it's more like this looks like a gas can, and then you've got like a little bit here, and so you're pulling this upper part, like you're pulling the gas can up into this notch here. And it feels weird because you feel the notch here when you're playing with the original Link. Some people love it. Some people, it's not their thing. The Link EX groove is more cylindrical, but it just has little grooves here. And so you have an easy thing to grab, to put your fingernail in here and pull it up. And that's how you do it. And on the Link and the Link EX groove, this does not interfere with the ball top. That's a Link 2 thing. The Link 2 solved their problem. They said, hey, we want this to still feel like a smooth shaft. It might be wider than a normal shaft, but we want it to still feel like a smooth shaft because that's what matters to the player. When the player plays it, they actually don't really realize the difference between the small shaft and the thick shaft as often when they're playing on the ball top, but they will definitely feel the groove of the EX groove, and they'll definitely feel the gap of the original Link. And so the Link 2 says, well, we're going to solve that problem, but you're not going to be able to change the ball tops. I have a feeling that Victrix might have originally wanted to sell ball tops to Victrix fans. It would be another revenue stream, but I think they didn't do it because of an agreement with Freak Mods, because they wanted to show goodwill to the community and, you know, make amends, because maybe their engineer or their marketing person, who knows, maybe one of those guys did wrong by Freak Mods by promoting this idea and it happened. Maybe they themselves did it, but whatever the case is, they've made up, and Victrix has no commercial activity with the Link 2. They barely promote it now too, but it's an amazing feature of the Victrix, and I'm just helping you have the history on that. But I did not research it very thoroughly. I just watched a few videos and I made some assumptions. So I am not a historian. I do not work for PDP. I do not work for Victrix, and I don't work for Freak Mods. So that's between them. And it's, you know, I would just say all that matters is we've got the Link 2. We've got the Link EX groove, which works just fine in it, and the Link that works just fine in it. The Link and the Link EX groove, you can change the ball top. The Link 2, you cannot change the ball top, but you do get this nice smoothness, even though it's a thicker shaft. So that is what you should know about the Link 2. And I do like the Link 2 very much, but I also love Freakmod's Link, and especially the EX Groove. And we all owe it thanks to that, because I have seen so many players, like, that feature is the feature that everyone wants. You know, there's two features that a lot of lever lovers want, and that is something like the removable shaft, and done in a good way that hopefully does not change performance. And then they also want to have, basically they hate removing E-clips from the lever. So now let's show where the cap goes, because that's, you want to know, like, in the original V1, in the original Victrix Pro Fs, I don't think there was a place to put the cap. I think they just forgot. But maybe they did. Maybe they had it, but it is right here. You put it right there. Look at that. Not going to go anywhere. Right? Still there. And this is, for another day, the notorious E-clip I told you about that many lever lovers hate dealing with. But for me, it's not so bad. I've gotten used to it, but there are days when it's a bad day. So it's what it is. Let's put this back up. We have got our Victrix Pro Fs White. This is a Victrix version 3. One last topic, the PC switch. Okay. So this is a big topic. For me, when I used the Victrix Pro Fs, I was playing on PC. And when I first used it, some buttons weren't exactly bound like I thought they would be, especially in Steam, but it was kind of weird, right? It took me about 10 minutes of figuring it out and of doing some research, of looking online, but I basically found workarounds there, and that was with the Pro Fs version 2. We're in version 3, and now this is what the change they made. Now, you saw the switch that goes from PC to PS4, goes from PS5 to PS4 to PC. That PC switch, it sets the board to be functioning with the X input. I think in the previous models, that PC compatibility was a built-in compatibility with Sony. I think that's what this message is about, right? This was like, again, it says PC compatibility not tested nor endorsed by Sony Interactive Entertainment. And that's because I think the Pro Fs was using Sony's proprietary way of dealing with being PC compatible. Now, on the flip side, I did get those bonus features. The headphone was working for me. I was able to get game audio on a PC with the headphone here. And I think that's awesome. Right, and other effects too. I was able to use it as a microphone. You know, you plug a headphone in, so you've got voice chat, and that's what you can control over here. So that functionality was there for me, but I had to do some tweaking. I had to mess with Steam. I had to tell it not to use beta drivers, and then I had to tell it to use beta drivers again. And then I just kind of found ways to kind of rebind everything. So that was the issue with the Pro Fs V2, and it sounds like people's mileage may vary. I think one general solution was to get like an X-Wing converter or a Wingman converter from Brooks and just plug that in. But you know, you are adding a little latency by doing that, but I think the latency is minimal, right? On another topic, the stick is rated at about 5 milliseconds, I think, on the PS5, and I think that's plenty fast. That is about 30% of a frame. However, frames do add up. So you've got input latency, but then you've also got latency from the monitor, latency from the cables from your console to the monitor, depending on the setup, depending on if you're using a splitter, right? So these things all do add up, but 5 milliseconds is on the very good range. But of course, a Brook Universal Fight board somewhere floating around about 1 millisecond, which is, you know, amazing, insane, but also you want the peak performance. There it is on the Brook Universal Fight board. The Victrix board, really damn fast, and is performing really like near the top of the class for retail sticks. But again, if you want the absolute fastest and you feel like you want, you know, you want it to be going like, you know, less than a tenth of a frame of accuracy, then then that's when you go to like the Brook Universal Fight board. You might have to modify it and find a breakout board or an easy mod from Arcade Shock. But this Pro FS plays amazingly well on, at least the V2 for me played amazingly well, and I was able to fix my issue with the buttons. Okay, so how about, is that button issue that people have been talking about on PC fixed? I believe it is. We would have to actually play. You know, we just opened this, but what we're looking for, Victrix has said that PC mode is setting this controller into X input mode. It runs with works very well with works very well with PC with Windows. And X input is probably the reason that there were problems before, because it was acting like a PS4 controller. And acting like a PS4 controller, we ended up needing some workarounds. And that's stuff where it's like, okay, that's kind of up to Sony, right? But this stick has got a PC mode, not emulating a DualShock controller or a third-party Sony controller. It's emulating, it's going directly its X input. So it's got its own part on the PCB. It should be running better. You should not be having those issues or needing to set up or needing a converter. I didn't need a converter. I just needed less than 10 minutes to set up. But if you're in a tournament, you don't have that luxury. So this is a big deal. Now this stick has become much more legit tournament because of the lower chance that it's going to cause the problem for you. It still can cause a problem because, you know, Defend the North is coming up. Everybody should be paying attention to Defend the North. They are aiming to make sure that PC plays really well. Now, I suspect they're going to have a lot of wingman converters. So that's going to add tiny latency, but almost none. But that is an amazing adapter. They're just going to have a bunch of those on hand for those cases where somebody's controller is just not working when they plug it in. Okay, we'll get you this converter. We plug that in. Now it's working, right? I think that is going to be the solution they'd use to unlock PC at tournaments. The other is going to be how much sponsorship is going to be needed to get enough PC units for a tournament, because that's a very expensive thing. But we'll see. Defend the North is aiming next month in October to set the precedent, to say, hey, you really should be doing PCs at fighting game tournaments because the benefits are so huge. When the game is running really good on the right display, it is a different experience than what you're getting on everything else. That said, currently the status quo is still, your device should be ready to play on a PS5 or a PS4, most likely, like a Pro mode, PS4 Pro Edition. So that's fine. This stick has got you covered. It especially has you covered now. But again, the Victrix Pro FS, I believe this will be available in the middle of November for the next batch of release. So Merry Christmas for that. But I am loving this thing. We haven't seen it plugged in yet, but maybe I'll do a video on that. And I would like to do a video to show you what the unboxing experience is like on the older models, or at least the Street Fighter 2 ones. And maybe even the headset, because that was a pretty cool headset, the original. The Pro AF, you know. So, yeah. Everybody, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a blast doing this. Victrix, thank you. I am glad you are still there. I do want a Victrix backpack. They look very different. They're not everyone's style, but they've only been bringing those to events. That might be the way that they do those, because they might feel like it's too risky to mass manufacture those because they don't know how many they'll sell. If you want to do good by me and maybe get a Christmas present in return, I would really appreciate it if any of you guys were able to get at the next event that Victrix is at, pick up the Victrix backpack for me. I'll make it worth your while. But that said, thank you all very much. Hope you enjoy. For everyone that's got a Victrix Pro FS white or purple 12 or FS, congratulations. I hope you enjoyed as much as I love playing on the Victrix. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, take care. Have a good one. And thanks for following me on this journey. I hope it was educational.